Okay. All right, let's see. So yeah, light curtains, again, things with high frequency access. So something like a punch press, right? We have two-hand control here. That's valid. I don't love two-hand control because somebody can hit the two-hand control and a coworker can be picking a part out of the system. It just, to me, it's like if you put a light curtain on something, it will stop the hazard when anybody reaches it. And that's, I mean, what we're trying to protect against. There's different types, right? There's a machine, what we refer to as machine guarding. Different manufacturers will call them different things. But there's basically two types. There's the point of operation protection, which we call machine guarding. We're going to put it right in front of the hazard, right? Somebody reaches into the hazard, it's going to shut the hazard off. Then there's also the perimeter guarding type. These are generally perimeter guarding or generally longer range. They're also bigger resolution, meaning the resolution. Are you guys familiar with light curtains? The resolution is just all about how far apart are the beams, right, to detect something. On these longer range ones, they're much lower resolution because we're guarding a very long, big area where we're keeping somebody out of a perimeter. So you think about it as like a fixed gate, but it allows you to walk through in and out of a production cell. Okay. Yep, machine guard. So type 2 and type 4. Type 2 is not a thing anymore, guys. It's mostly type 4. And that's largely in part because of the technology cost has come down so much to produce these things. I don't think the price point varied, so most manufacturers just issue type 4 and that's it. Okay, perimeter guard light curtains, we can do up to 110-meter range on a perimeter guard. Yeah, so like you don't have to worry, we got it. The other thing is you're like, well, we're not guarding anything that big. That's a cool feature, but we're not guarding a football field. The benefit of having that power is that it will also, it has more gain. So if you have like a bad dusty atmosphere, or if you get garbage on the lens, it'll push through that with the infrared power. So there's some benefit there too, even if you don't have a huge application, like a huge in terms of distance that you're doing. And then the machine,
Very good question.
oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, is the implementation of the perimeter guard more complicated by the fact that someone can be like inside the perimeter while not
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yes. Yeah, you do have to account for that, right? So it can't be auto reset, right? I can't walk through and it stops, and then after I go all the way in, the circuit's reset. The other thing is we need to make sure that there's nobody in the cell before we reset the cell. And that applies to a robotic cell too, right? Like even if it had a gate, we have to make sure that before we reset that, we verify that there's nobody in that cell. The standards say it is sufficient to have a reset button and an operator to visually verify. To do that, that's sufficient. I would say that my recommendation is that that's what the standard says, but I would say that oftentimes based on visibility, sometimes companies will put other means to verify that people aren't in that area, safety mats, sometimes area scanners, right? Or maybe just an area scanner in an area that's not visible to the operator that's hitting the reset. But according to the standard, you can rely on an operator to reset that system. But yeah, that is a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. This says 30-meter range perimeter access. That's a typo. It's 30-meter range on our point of operation guarding. Again, it's like big deal. We don't have a point of operation that we're trying to do 30 meters. Benefit is that it's got a lot of gain power so that you don't have to maintain clean, worry about false tripping. That gain power pushes through that, and that's helpful. Okay. They're very rugged also. And I put a video on LinkedIn where I smashed a home run with one of these guys, and I mean smashed it. I got it good. And I plugged in light curtain and it just worked. So anyways, if you want to see a funny video, there you have it.
Do you guys offer like alignment stuff? Because I mean, I've had light curtains before that there's 6 degrees of freedom, right? You're kind of
Yeah, line. So yeah, so the light curtains, We do offer a laser alignment tool that can plug onto the top of it. But I will tell you that it was actually the same steel plant where the dude showed me, the melting light currents. He wanted me to do a demo and we were at, I think it was 55 feet. And I literally aligned them. I'm not joking, dude. I mounted these things onto plywood bases, okay, 2 of them, and went down there and stood them up 50 feet away, stood it on a plywood base on a factory floor, stood this one on a plywood base. And I literally was able to do this, and they have LED lights on them. So I could see when the LED lights would light up. And so my message is that increased amount of range also, it helps, it helps to kind of like cushion against that. You have basically more energy going through. So if you're slightly misaligned, there's still enough energy to make that, right? And then what I did is I monitored, we have a software tool where you can monitor the beam strength. And I just monitored that. So it was made, but maybe it was only, 5% above the switch point.
Sure.
And I was able to kind of play with it this way and see that gain go way up. And I was like, okay, cool, it's fine. So yeah, we do have a laser alignment tool, but I would say that these LEDs on here play a big help in, yeah, you guys know if you've worked with light curtains, you see some wonky stuff go on. One of them, we had the top and the bottom of the light curtains completely aligned, and the middle, like the guy had bracketed the middle and it torqued it a little bit, and that caused a bunch of issues. So yeah, we can help you out. You give the guys here a call or us, and but yeah, it's a great product. This new version that we came out with, it's on that machine right there, actually. Okay, and then there's safe distance mounting considerations to be had with light curtains. We have a free software tool. It's called SD Manager 3. I like it because it's super simple to use, but it also has a application safe distance calculating tool in there. So you can go to, I think it says like S, it's on the top toolbar. You click that, and then you can actually pick what type of application you have. You input the data, the parameters for your application, and it spits out your safe distance. Okay, pretty cool. And then sometimes just to be aware, I see this in light curtain applications. It's like, oh my gosh, it wants us to mount this thing 1.5 meters away. Like we don't have that much room, right? The other option is then we need to start looking at how to control the hazard, how to bring the hazard to a halt in a controllable way quicker. And we have advanced motion control systems that help with that. Okay, so that's another thing they can look at. But that can be surprising when you see that number. It's like, oh, wow, but really important. There's also a table in our user's manual to account for things like reach over distances. That can be found in our user's manual, or it can be found in the B standard for application of safety light curtains. So 11.19, you can find that information. Okay, a light curtain will have an MTCFD for it. It will also actually, because it is itself, it has a safety controller on board. So it's actually rated performance level E at the outputs. It will tell you that so what that means is that you can actually run the outputs of a light curtain directly to your final switching devices, and you're good. It also has a monitoring circuit that can monitor. Okay. Depending on how many safety devices you have on your system is going to play into what your circuit architecture looks like, right? If you only have a light curtain that's protecting the machine and knee stop, no reason to have a safety controller, right? You got 2 devices. You can do a safety monitoring relay for the e-stop. The light curtain itself's got a controller. We don't see this a whole lot for bigger work cells because we've got multiple safety devices, and so you'll see a safety controller involved. Okay, like this. But that's how that wiring would go. All right, so when to apply light curtains, just quick access. Obviously, they do not contain projectile hazards, can't guard against heat as much as we try. must be used on machines with a relatively quick rundown. Must be used on machines which can be stopped anywhere in the process. That's one thing, is you get like sales guys walking around your plant, like doing this and stuff like that. And we don't see that there's a perimeter guard light curtain, because one stick is 50 yards that way, one stick's this way, and we're walking down the plant, we go like that, and we can shut the system down just like that. I've ever done that. But light curtains don't have any warning, right? So like if somebody doesn't know the perimeter guard's there, and it can happen, it's just on or off. Whereas a safety scanner, you can actually have a warning zone, right? Which can say, hey, you're getting close to shutting this process off. So just keeping that in mind, if, you know, if that is, depends on your application, right? But something to keep in mind.